Hi, you are welcome to my channel today. Today we will be looking at fault finding on medical electronics and devices, equipment. So we will be looking at step-by-step function of how to trace a fault. When a device is presented to you and equipment is presented to you faulty for repair, or you are invited to come and look at a faulty equipment. Most of the medical equipment are electronically wired, so we look at them very well to find out where the fault is from. So when such equipment is presented to you, you will have to find out the history, details of what has happened before. Just like a medical doctor will always ask the patient, what happened, when did it happen, this, that, all those questions, and the answer he's getting will enable him to know exactly where to start from. You cannot just jump into repairs without asking questions. Don't claim to know it, or ask questions. The little answer that you will get may even be the solution to your problem. So I encourage us, if we must go into this, to ask questions. Like the type of question you ask is time of failure. The time of failure may give you an idea that it could be as a result of heat periods, maybe peak periods of a system where the current is always high. You may, after repair, may introduce kind of cooling system for the device, because after repair, if you are not able to find out what caused the damage of the equipment, you end up coming back to stage one. You find out from the user department whether such thing has happened before. It will give you an idea. They will tell you, this has been changed before, this, that. It will give you an idea of what to do. Then you find out if there is any injury to patients as a result of the faulty equipment, because life is not what you play with. When it comes to medical equipment, you have to be very, very cautious of what you do. You have to be serious about it. You find out if there is any incident report. It will as well give you an idea. So you need to direct your question towards a sentence of the failure based on your experience. That is, if you have one. The type of question you ask will give you an idea, what could have happened. So you need to work with your brain in this type of issue. This should be logged into inventory system, and the job allocated to the appropriate technician for execution. You have to log in the reports into an inventory so as to have a history of what happened, and from there you can assign the right person that needs to take on the job, the right technician that will take on the job. We should look out for the following. The technician must identify the section of the device that is faulty before locating the actual circuit or the component that has failed. So, with your experience, you should be able to know that most of the equipment are segmented into blocks. So when a fault is presented to you, you should be able to find out if it's section A, section B. I will use a system, for example, a PC system that has a monitor. It has the processor and the rest of the. If the monitor is not coming on, maybe you first of all check if there is supply to the monitor. You are narrowing it down to the monitor. You are now no more interested in the processor, because you've been able to find out that the processor is okay. So you go direct and check if it's supplying current to the voltage to the monitor. These are little things one needs to know. You must have a maintenance manual and up-to-date circuit description and diagram. Now, here is very much important. If you must work on equipment, you need to ask for the manual. If you find out certain things, you will be able to know that manual will give you a greater percentage of what you are looking out for. Some may claim that they are experienced, but all equipment are not the same. It might even be tightening of a knot that will solve your issue. So always ask for manual, read them. It will give you an idea and make you to be more experienced, prepare you for further work in future. You must have all the necessary testing equipment which must be calibrated accordingly. Here is, if you have the right equipment, like this is an oscilloscope, you have a multimeter, you have clamp meter, you have ohm meter, and the rest of them we use to trace fault in our devices. So you need to have all those things. Having them is not enough. Find out if they are well calibrated, if the readings that are giving you are correct. If you cannot do all those things, they may give you the wrong reading, then you end up damaging the equipment. Having said all this, we will now look at step-by-step function of how to trace the fault. These are basics, but we need to know them. Check the main supply indicator if it's coming on. You have to find out if the mains indicator, if the indicator is coming on. Look at it very well to find out if it's coming on. Then if it's not coming on, check the main supply and find out whether the main supply is on. The wall socket is the main supply. Some may have control bus, anything that will, depending on the supply of the machine. So after checking the main supply, then you check the plug for a defect in the pins. Most of the time, the pin of the plug may be defected, so you will change it and you will check it and see if it can be changed. Then you look at the fuse of the plug. The fuse of the plug may have been blown or melted, so you check it. After checking the fuse, then you check the mains cable and find out if the cable is faulty. This is what you need to know. Find out if the cable has fault. Then if it's okay, then you now check the switch of the equipment you are working on, because sometimes the switches may got burnt, so you need to look at the switch, test them and see if it's passing current or voltage. These are the little things you need to check. Check the protective. After checking the switch, you now check the protective mechanisms of the device. What are the protective mechanisms of the device? You talk of the circuit breaker, you talk of the fuse. Find out if these things are good. If they are good, then you are now good. You will now go into the main circuit. Here we consider inside the circuit now. You now consider the circuit as a block. You have arrays of blocks segmented in blocks. Don't consider it as a whole. If you consider the system as a whole, you make a very big mistake. What am I trying to say in essence? What I'm trying to say in essence is that block 1 may fit block 2, and block 2 may fit block 3, block 3 may fit block 4. So you have to consider what we call input to output check, output to input check, half split check. What am I trying to say in essence? Input to output check is when you feed in signal to one block. If you feed in signal to one block, you are expected to get an output from that block 1. If there is an output in that block 1, you go over to block 2. The block 1 will feed block 2, and the input of block 2 should be able to give you output from that block 2. Then in that block 2 we feed block 3. Block 3 will feed block 4. And if you check the output of block 3 and that fed block 4, and if you cannot find any output from block 4, it means that the card or the block of that block 4 is faulty, what are you expected to do? Now you have been able to narrow down that where the fault is from block 4. What you are now expected to do is to look inside that block 4 to find out. It could be partial contact from the block as a result of heating. One component must have heated. It could be a component fault. It could be changing of the card. So these are the things that you need to look out to find out if you should change the card, or you should repair the card, or you should fix the fuse that caught in that very card, because some card comes with its own fuse. You look at a lot of things in that card. If you cannot fix the card, you change the card. But one thing you must have in mind while doing all these things is that you consider the cost of repair and the time. If you combine all these things to find out if the cost of the repair will be more than the cost of the equipment, it's your decision to make. You can't go on and start fixing equipment that is with a higher amount, why you know that little amount can buy you a new one. So these are the things that you consider. So having listened to me attentively, I am very sure that you must have learned one or two things from my video. Please do subscribe to my channel. Subscription is free. You will be getting this video as time goes on. Thank you for being part of this.